Oh, you can't hear anything yet?
Yes. Hello, Mungani. That's a very lovely name with two U's. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Could you hear the music?
We still can't hear it. If you have
Wow, I wonder
earphones,
what's
perhaps
happening.
you could unplug the earphones.
Oh, no, no headphones.
No earphones. I think we had the same issue last time. Perhaps it's something we need to look into.
Okay.
Ladies, welcome, welcome. Just one more minute as we wait for more ladies to join us. Hi, Rita. Nice to see you again.
Hi everyone. Morning.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Hi, ladies. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Please type in the comment section for those of you, if you can see me, if you can hear me. Elizabeth can see me and hear me, but I don't know about the others.
Yes, I can see you, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. Other ladies, please let me know in the comment section so that I know I'm not talking to Elizabeth alone.
I see you and hear you. I see you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rachel. All right, so I guess we shall get started. Thank you so much for being patient with us. And today's our third session. I hope you're all excited. We have come a long way. We started with, trying to overcome our fears. We tried to, find the things that, are holding us back from writing because we realized we have so many stories we want to write. And the next session, people came and told us how they had started writing. Someone went back to us to a script they had done 7 years ago, and now they were really ready to move on and start all over again. It has been a beautiful journey. I hope everyone has a similar story to tell. And in the second session, we had a guest speaker who taught us about the hook, the look, the took, right? It was really an energizing session, and that was really helping us to structure our stories, to structure our writing. And today, we're now going to move into the nitty gritty. So we started from finding who we are, then moving down to how we can write the things that we have found out about ourselves. And now we are slowly moving towards, the small nitty gritties. How do you write that sentence that makes people want to continue reading a book or continue reading, I don't know, whatever, maybe it's a series or something. So writing is very important for all of us. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Elizabeth to give us a few words before we get into the full session. In the meantime, ladies, please, you can tell us what has been your experience in the from the first two sessions, so that we can see where we are as we move into the third session. Elizabeth, over to you. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, ladies, you're most welcome to this session. It's the last session in the first series of the boot camp. Later today, as we wrap up, we'll hear more about next steps. But today, we're actually going into the product. So we've reflected on ourselves, we've identified challenges, we've planned to face our fears, we moved to session 2 where we discussed how everything develops, how you get resolution, whether it's in a tweet, whether it is in a text message for those who communicate that way, whether it's a story or academic writing, how you develop to that level. So session 3 is about getting the words and stringing them together. So for those of you who do art and crafts, you know how you crochet everything and have a final product, because without sentences, you do not have paragraphs. Without paragraphs, you do not have your chapter, you do not have your book. So today's session is really about how we do that, but we are not going to use the workbook in all its entirety. We are going to do the work. So we do not want to be reading what you can read on your own. We are going to take advantage of this collective energy in one room to ensure that we look at the rules, we learn how to break the rules, and how when we have the baby, when we have the draft, we can actually step out of the room, of the delivery room, and become a reader. Because that's what the editor does. And it's best that you do that yourself. The first draft should be edited by yourself, because you kind of know what you want to tell out there, and you do not want to give it to somebody else to tweak it. So you step out, you become your reader to see whether it makes sense, whether the story is resolved the way you want it to be resolved, whether the turning point comes at the right time, whether the jargon, whatever it is. If I'm writing about law, I kind of know what lawyers are trained to look for or trained to read. If I'm writing as a scientist, I need to get the jargon right. So in this session, the focus is going to be on how we get this right. So I'll share my screen shortly so that we have a look at the workbook.
So ladies, in the meantime, I hope you have pens, pencils, books, paper, because today we are truly going to get into it. We're really going to write. We're going to let ourselves free. We are going to be each other's critic. So don't feel any type of way when someone tells you, yeah, you missed a C here, you missed a comma there. Today it's basically about learning and being open-minded and taking feedback. So while Elizabeth is filling up the workbook, keep that in mind, okay? So let's just have all those things near us. Even those who are using the computer, that is even perfect, because we want you to engage today when we start the exercises. You can share them, you can share them in the chat, or you can, just try and read it out loud for us, and we'll, everyone will join in to tell us what they think about what you have written. Right, we can see it. We can see.
Yes, I'll give a minute or two. Can you see this? Yes.
It's perfect, we can see it.
Okay, I also get a notification here. Okay, so this is the only page that I'm going to show of the workbook now. And you see the first sentence that a serious writer should always write a topic sentence. So that topic sentence, first of all, you need it for the product, whether it's a text or whoever writes on Twitter, on whatever forum that you use. There must be something around which, whether it's the paragraph or the book or whatever, it hangs around something. So there are rules about how you should do that. We've been taught how you should have a verb, the action words, what's the subject of the sentence. Those technicalities are set out in the rest of that module. But why I'm putting this page here is that for the creative writers, and you know, whether you're writing poems, whether you're writing prose, whatever you're writing, this accepts the academic writers. With the creative writers, there's creativity allowed. So you can actually break the rules. You can break the rules. And how do you break the rules? You can use passive language. You can use repetition. You can write for emphasis. You can repeat and repeat and repeat something for emphasis. You can make up words. You can coin words. And that's how the language develops. You coin a word, and I know there's so many words used in Uganda now, or wherever our membership comes from, that are just made up. But when you read, you understand. So I'll ask that in the chat function, we put words that have been made up, that have become common use. And I'll ask Murungi to read them out because I'm not able to see the chat now.
Sure. I'll go with what I have that has always excited me. Kofef. From a few years back, was one of the ones that, you know, was suddenly running around the internet. So ladies, what are some of those words that have become, you know, unknown to us? They started off as a joke, perhaps.
Boda boda. I'll start with boda boda. Now everybody says boda.
Stacey says muyayu. Balance the boat. From Rachel, that is very true. Now that has become a statement and you can use it and everyone will know what exactly you are talking about. Yes. Ladies, we're waiting for your comments. These are quite interesting. Muyayu, balance the boat. I think another one that's very common. I would like to hear from, you know, our sisters from Kenya, from Zambia, Zimbabwe, other parts of the country. Nobody can stop reggae from Rita. That is very interesting. Yes. Ladies, please let us know what are some of those, you know, homegrown English words. Rachel says, I think it's more like, you know, have some bit of introspect. That's what it hits me like. Thank you so much, Rachel. I think we also had words like Chiwani over the years. You know, that means fraud or something fraudulent. Yes. Our sisters from other parts of the world, kindly share with us some of those words that have, you know, become very clear English words over the years.
And even sounds, the way, for example, when people talk about, you know, they laughed, they say, I ha-had, something like that.
Yes, I ha-had.
Instead of saying that I laughed, I ha-had.
LOL is one of the things, you know, people even say these days, LOL. Yes, Stacey, LOL, you know.
So social media has grown, it has contributed to language growing more and more.
Rachel also says hearts have hardened, especially since they announced the new 42 days. OMG, yes, Susan, thank you so much. OMG has now become part and parcel of our lives. Cindy says, please M-Pesa me. That is very, very true. Please M-Pesa me. Please mobile money me. You know, please, you know, all these things have become very part and parcel of our lives. By fire, by force. That is true. That has also become very common. AWOL. Thank you so much, Mungani. She says AWOL. And AWOL has really, now AWOL I think is really an official word, right? It can be used in any official communication. AWOL. Thank you so much, ladies.
So we'll find that is how language has grown over the years. What we think today as standard English, I'll use English because that's the common language that we are using on this platform. We will think that this is how the English language has been all the years. No. When you read the history of the English language. In the 1300s, it was different, 1400s. What we think is English is actually a mixture of French, the Norman. So it's a Norman, Germanic, whatever. I'm not a linguist, but there's that history. So we make up words and grow the language. We make it more interesting. Then we can also mix languages. So when you're writing creatively, you know, and whatever, it's not English, but somebody will write and then say, oh, there was a Chiwani. That you cannot do easily. For example, when you're writing academically, but also you can do that academically where there's language that is in the area. There's, for example, when you're writing for the law, there's Latin, there are Latin phrases. When you're writing as a scientist, there are Latin words, names for chemicals, for all sorts of processes. So you go by the rules, but you can also break the rules. And when you break the rules, you're creating a brand. People will learn that when they read that particular paragraph, they have a few suspects in mind. They'll say, that must be Moronji writing. That must be Elina's writing. I'm not playing favorites, but that's what I see. That's the list of participants that I see here on the screen. So I want us today to use this session, borrowing from what we discussed in session 1, you know, reflecting on Elizabeth and what Elizabeth puts on paper, reflecting on what Rachel puts on paper. I want us to use what we've taken away from session 1, what we've taken away from session 2, and what we're talking about today, about the power of that topic sentence, that thread around which a paragraph hangs. That sentence that if you take it out of the paragraph, the reader has no clue what you're talking about. So I want us to use all this collective learning, the collective information that we have, and I want us to use the collective energy in this group. We are growing in number, you know, slowly, but I want us to use that to make sure that at the end of this session, we have something that we can pin up on our walls, literally, like in your space, or you can even pin it on somewhere on social media, but make sure you copyright it, because it may be well written and it may get borrowed. You know, things go viral and people do not know that their very creative thinking is going out there and somebody else is going to write a play. Somebody is going to make it to Hollywood, you know, out of something that you wrote, ignorantly, didn't protect, and it went out there. So I want us to use a few of these moments just to start brainstorming. You can do it in the chat, you can do it on paper, just to think, if I was to write, what would be my topic sentence? Just have some wild thoughts as we get ourselves into that space. So I just want this to be a moment of reflection around what we've discussed so far. So I'll stop sharing my screen and hand over to Moronji.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I think that was fantabulous. Fantabulous is also one of those words that has come up. Mungani, thank you for sharing that. So ladies, topic words, what are some of those words, you know, that you feel, you know, can catch someone's attention, you know, when you write them? Can just, you know, I'll give you just a minute to think it through, and then you can post it in the chat and I'll be sharing them as the time goes on. We have a minute, ladies. Today we are all hands-on. We're just going to write, discuss, share, you know. So ladies, I'm waiting for your comments in the comment section as we prepare.
And I just want to add that none of us on this forum is an expert. With each and every sentence that we write better, we get better. That is all. So don't feel like, oh, whatever I'm writing is not fit for purpose. Just put it out there. the readers will tell you if it excites them, if it is funny, if it makes them laugh, if it makes them better, you've done a good job. Yeah.
Ladies, our minute is up. What are some of what Rachel says unfinished business? Unfinished business would be one of her topic words. Thank you so much, Rachel. So ladies, the word, it doesn't have to be just one word. It can be 2 words, it can be 3 words really. And just to add on to what Elizabeth said, even in academic writing, you can, coin words. You can coin words. I mean, COVID-19 is a word that was just coined really. The scientists, those who do the virus-related research know it as coronavirus, but we now call it COVID. And then they decided to add 19, and now we all know why that is so. Ladies, what are some of those words that could become topics? It was a catch-22. Elena says catch-22. Thank you so much. Adolescents' feelings. Marion says adolescents' feelings. How not to. Stella says how not to. Thank you so much, ladies. Oh, yes. Elizabeth says locked down again. I think our people, Ugandans, as one of the people says, do you feel the house? Now is the time. Susan says daring destiny. Thank you so much. Rachel says come from chaos. These are very interesting words. Thriving beyond loss. That is what Fortunate is talking about. They're really amazing. All these are fantabulous. A need for optimism from Susan. Caught between the rock and the wall, Eleanor. Stella says she loves the come from chaos. Thank you so much. Silent years. Rachel says silent years. Yeah, silent years. Interesting. Damage control. Cindy says damage control. I think we have to do a lot of that, because of what's going around, especially with the pandemic and all. Damage control. Listen to adolescent feelings, says Marion. I know. I don't remember the last time I was an adolescent, but those memories surely come back once in a while. Richard says, the unlikely farmer. The unlikely farmer. Ladies, thank you so much for sharing all this. And as you can see, really, when you put your mind to something, you can come up with something that will catch someone's attention. And as we look at today's session, which is mainly about writing that first sentence that will blow away everyone, I would like you to share in the comment section, is there a phrase from a book or from a movie or from, I do not know, wherever I might have had it, that has stayed in your mind, or a sentence, anything that every time you think about something, it comes to your mind. Please share that in the comment section. It could be a sentence, it could be a word, it could be something that, made you so excited to actually continue reading this book or continue watching this series, or perhaps it was in a trailer of a movie and you had it and you said, oh, I have to watch this movie. Fortunate says, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Yes. We make love, not war. Thank you so much. Lean in. Rosalind says, lean in. And that's the title of the book, I think, Sheryl Sandberg. That is very true. Lean in. Speaks to you and you wonder, what do you have to lean into? Thank you so much, Rosalida. Any other words or phrases that, captivated you to either continue reading a book, watch a movie, or even just listen to someone? Sometimes there are those on social media, they're just words that come up and you read 1-2 sentences and you're sold. Stella says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And she draws this from the Bible. Thank you so much, Stella. Secure attachment, says Marion. I think one of mine is from Gossip Girls. I do not know how many of you watched Gossip Girls, but I remember this scene so vividly where Chuck Bass, one of the characters, is seated in the counselor's room and they're asking, so why do you want to go to an Ivy League school? So they show us, different students giving their answers. People wanted to go because, they can contribute to this, they can contribute to that. But when they asked Chuck Bass said, because I am Chuck Bass. For him, he wanted to go to an Ivy League school simply because he is who he is. And for me, that has never left me since then. Doreen says, moment. Thank you so much. Susan says, everything that comes after I am will come looking for you. Oprah's podcast with Joel Austin. Thank you so much. That talks about abundance and, taking your destiny into your own hands. Elizabeth is also talking about Me Too. I think we've seen the Me Too movement, right? The Me Too movement was really big when it started. And I think each one of us had a story to share when it came to Me Too. So ladies, as you can see, we are all capable of coming up with such gripping words, such gripping sentences that draw other people into the stories we want to write, into the stories we want to share. Thank you so much for sharing. So right now we are going to practice. I hope you're all ready and excited with your pens, your pencils, your books, and also those on their computers, you're ready at your keyboards. So what I'm going to do, please allow me to share this. And just a minute, please. I will ask you ladies, can you see my screen? You can type in the chat or you can just...
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. Perfect. Let me try to find the
And she
chat.
says, yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Rachel said, yes, we can. That's another,
that's very...
another one.
Thank you so much, Rachel. All right, so ladies, if you can see my screen, that is perfect. So now we are going to have some training about, all the things we can do with our time, those fast sentences, those fast 1 to 3 words that can captivate your reader. So I have a few pictures and I would like for all of us to, caption this. This is the first image. When you look at this image, what do you see? You can write in the chat and then I'll read it. And feel free, you can unmute yourself to actually say what you see. So ladies, what do you see? How do you caption this? When you look at this, how do you caption this? Stella says the joy of brotherhood. Thank you so much, Stella. Mungani says relaxed. Thank you so much. Ladies, feel free to unmute yourselves in case you want to just speak instead of typing in the chat. How would you caption this? Marion says precious moments. Rosalita says, we made it. Thank you so much. Kristen says time out. Brandy says, you are so funny. Rachel says, chill out, dude. There are so many ways that you can caption this. Cindy says, laughing, LOL, stop being silly. I think we are thinking about like, girl, stop pausing, Elena says, even the most fierce have a human side to them. That is lovely, you know, because lions, we all fear lions. Imagine you're in a dream and a lion is chasing you, right? Elizabeth says, attitude in the Pride Land. So you see, we all look at this and we all appreciate it in different ways. Ladies, how would you caption the next one? How would you caption this? Ladies, how would you caption this? Just a minute, please.
Welcome says, don't play with
Thank
me.
you, Elizabeth.
Doreen says, take it or leave it. Rachel says, again. Doreen says, I'm here to stay. Marion says, hey, daddy, why are you angry? Brandy says, Mom, are you really angry at me? Rita says, I ain't got time today. Stella says, what the H? Helena, don't you dare. I will say not again.
And I would think about what now? What now? You know? So all these, as you can see, ladies, ladies, how would you caption this?
Marion says, I don't know if it's for this one, that I need space. Maybe that was for the other time.
Maybe that was for the
I
other
would say selfie time.
Selfie time.
I would say selfie time.
Yes. Susan says, "Aww."
I would say photobomb.
Yes, photobomb.
Yes.
Marion says, love you. Sweetie, please. Thank you, Doreen. Brandy says, oh, please cheer up and smile. I agree. Rosalinda says, Kwani. That's a very Kenyan way, right? Thank you so much for that. Susan says, chill, take a chill pill. Come on, why are you so serious? I think I remember that from a movie. Why so serious, right?
How about Hakuna Matata?
Hakuna Matata. Thank you, Rachel. Yes, ladies. Thank you so much for that. Mungani said, yay, I'm in the picture. What about this picture? How would you caption this? Ladies, how would you caption this picture? I'll personally say, but you don't look like me. Can we be friends? Marian says, huh? Huh? Susan says, what did you say? Rosalind says, did you hear what I said? And Susan also says, and I am serious. I am very serious, Rachel says, do you speak?
Rachel says, did you speak? Yeah.
Do you speak?
Are you friendly? I would say, guess what?
Guess what? What about this one? How would you caption this?
Do not disturb me.
Do not disturb.
Reflecting.
Reflecting. I'm sure our Ugandan brothers and sisters are all reflecting upon the next 42 days. Thank you so much, Marion, for that. Ladies, how would you caption this? What would you say? What would you write to caption this?
So what happened? Life is hard. What do I do now?
Someone says, I need help. It is true. I would like to also hear some of that local things you would say. People from Kenya, from Uganda, what are some of those jargons you would throw in there? There's been a lot of words, as Elizabeth said, language develops and grows even from our mother tongues. People from, other parts of Africa, or other parts of the world. What are some of those jargons you'd throw in there? I'd like to hear some of the local lingo that you use.
Niache.
Niaje. Thank you so much for that.
Please translate.
Marion.
Like, leave me alone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So please say the jargon and translate, ladies. I think that will give us more context to what you're saying.
No wahala.
No wahala.
But why?
But why?
Chichicho.
Yechicho. Yechicho means why? Why all this? Why all this? All right, ladies. What about this one? How would you caption this? Ladies, how would you caption this? I've been thinking about Dikula. I don't know if in other parts of, other parts of the world, you had those entertainers who would dress up like this and, dance around on the streets, and you'd have to give them some bit of money. That's what would come to my head. Dikula reappears. Ladies, what would you say if you saw this? Elizabeth?
Dikula. Most people, it's Dikula.
Thank you.
I see not again, no money.
No money.
Dikula mo COVID.
Dikula during COVID.
I see the Cameroonian song, the Zangalewa. Somebody wrote
yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Somebody, my new look.
In this
and
COVID
I see
season.
Nice one, Brandy. My hustle. Rosalita says, my dear in town.
All right,
basically,
ladies.
I would see fun, I would see entertainment, I would see creativity.
Yes. So ladies, allow me to temporarily stop the sharing. So thank you so much for that. As you can see, all these are things that, we have so much within us, and if we really take time to just put these words here and there, we can really come up with those very fast sentences. So the way you see those pictures and the way you brought out the words that you saw, the words that went through your mind when you saw the pictures, is how your readers will feel when they read that sentence. So moving on next, Elizabeth, I would kindly ask you to share the next bits of the slide, and then I'll read read what the ladies will share with us. Is that
Excuse
okay?
me, Moronji. Is
Hi.
it okay to ask Elizabeth a question before she dives into the next?
Yes, please. Please go
Thank you.
ahead. Questions are allowed.
Okay, thanks. Elizabeth, I was wondering, how do you get inspiration for your topic sentences and caption words, or just the creativity with your words? What do you use to inspire you?
I think this takes me back to session 1. I'll ask myself in the first place, why should I write about this? You know, like the picture of the 2 lions. Why are you even giving them the time of day when you see them? Why are you looking at them? Why are you interested in them? What do you want to tell other people about them? So the inspiration comes very much from that point, that why. Because I may see the baboon, or I may see, I think it's Paw Paw, the one in the Nigerian movies. Other people may just walk past, but whatever draws you to the picture of the lions or to the picture of a building, that's where the inspiration comes from. Did I find this funny? Do I have a story to tell? Is there something to tell? Do I want to inspire? Do I want to teach? So it's the objective. What emotion, what do you want to share? And for me, that's where the inspiration comes from. Do I want to talk to children? Do I want to talk about children? Then I'll be drawn to the baby, the baby picture. So it's different maybe for everybody, but the why, the objective, the objective draws me to what? What about that picture I want to see? How should I package it? How should I make it interesting for adult readers, young readers? How can I make it interesting? For example, if I'm writing for a nature magazine, then the story around the lions or the giraffe could go to conservation, or it could go to hospitality industry. So it will be about tourism. So it will be more about attracting a tourist. The story will be different from where you're selling this to a minister for environment to say, these are endangered species. These 2 that you see in the picture are the last that we have in Kenya, or that they are the last that we have in Uganda. When they die, that species is totally gone. It's totally extinct. So why you're drawn to telling that story then helps you package it to the right person in the right way, and in a mode that, and even in a tone that, either it makes it interesting or it projects it as at a level serious enough for somebody to want to take action. And right now, because of like the COVID situation, trust me, if somebody somewhere said that something from the giraffe can cure COVID, you would then use that picture to write a story about a remedy. And trust me, giraffes will be dead. So the why you want to tell that story, or why you feel whatever emotions you associate with this that you're seeing should be shared or should be retold, then the inspiration is around that why and that objective. Because other people will sit and just, oh, those are just 2 giraffes somewhere, and move on. I hope this has helped answer your question, Rachel. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, ladies. I hope we've picked something from that. Mungani, please unmute yourself.
Okay, yes, so I have a question on
Yes,
topic sentences in academic writing. I just need a clarification because
Yes.
I was looking at some of my academic writings and I realized some paragraphs I do have topic sentences, but some I don't really seem to have them. So how do you balance how I'm supposed to do like topic sentences in academic writing?
Yeah, with was that targeted at me or Murunji?
I think it was targeted at you. But I
Okay.
can go on, please.
Please answer from a practical, angle, and then I'll be generic.
All right, Mungani, thank you for
I'll come
that.
after.
I think also this starts with your topic. You know, what are you writing about? As Elizabeth talked about your why. So when you look at your academic writing, there are themes, there are always themes. Those themes are either dictated by the kind of maybe the university you're in, perhaps the department you're in, perhaps the funder or whatever. So there are always different topics, and you can choose different, words from those, this broad, the broader, where you belong. So perhaps you're writing about children, why you think breastfeeding is very important for those children, So some of the words would have to include babies, breastfeeding, mothers, nutrition, those would be some of the words you would really focus on to draw in whoever will be reading your paper. So it really comes down to where you want to fix this research of yours, where you want to put this academic writing of yours. Elizabeth, you can, add on to that.
Yeah, in addition to Murungi's statement or submission, with academic writing, it's even more important than the creative writing to be able to have that topic sentence. But the topic sentence does not have to be in each paragraph. What I've realized with academic writing, you should be able to link, because academic writing is an essay. So it's very, very important that one paragraph leads to another paragraph. So the introductory sentence or the opening sentence in, like when you're let's say you're writing about COVID, the lockdown, and you've broken it down. So in your introduction, you're talking about how COVID-19 came to be when it first became an issue, it became a pandemic. Then you introduce the lockdown because you're going to write about the lockdown. So you said there were so many measures, including the lockdown. What about the lockdown? And the good thing is that in school, we were taught about this pestle or whatever, that the way you do that analysis. So how has the lockdown done, the political, economic, social, technological, whatever, you do that analysis. If you've chosen you're going to talk about social issues, what about social issues? The lockdown and society? Is it about access to services, about increased violence in homes or whatever? As you go down, you see that even somebody reading from the conclusion, reading back to the introduction, can actually see that there's something about COVID, there's something about lockdown, there's something about how communities have been affected, whether socially, whatever theme you're addressing. Anyone reading even one paragraph from that paper, it should have a clue that there's COVID involved, that there's a lockdown, and that there are social issues. So you find that is the thread, that is the common thread. And ideally, each and every paragraph should have something that links that paragraph to the topic. It doesn't have to be, and as you practice it more and more, it becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it. Like right now, what I'm talking about is actually a paper I could write tomorrow. And people will think I've always had this plan. It just came now as we're speaking. And that's how I would structure it. The one I'm telling it to you, that is how I would structure it. Then I would go and look for the research because it has to be evidence-based. So in my first paragraph, I'll have WHO announcing that we have a pandemic. So that will be my references. Then I'll have governments, presidential directives announcing the lockdown. So I usually get the evidence after. Sometimes like I'm watching the news and then I'm inspired. I'm like, okay, they say, and that's what I put in the group for those of you who are in the bootcamp WhatsApp group. We have a directive that we can't do cross-border, cross-border travel in Uganda, cross-district. So you cannot cross from one district to another. But we are all aware that when it comes to service delivery, some people actually access services in another district, which is like 1 meter, 200 meters away from their residence. So they automatically now have to refer to their headquarters, but that is okay if it's just for services. What if it's for employment and you're disabled?
Yeah.
Because they say the border cannot cross, you cannot like drive across, you're not an essential worker. So until last night's announcement, which kind of like makes it really a lockdown, those are the questions that were in my mind. If you're disabled and you're trying to cross from one district to another, because initially people could walk across. So this is how you build your story. And when you're editing, sorry, now I'm taking all the time to talk about the things. When you're editing, you are looking at that common thread and making sure that it runs from the introduction to the conclusion. And it's not tangled anywhere. It is straight. So that's where the topic sentence in each paragraph keeps you on track, because it keeps taking you to COVID-19, it keeps taking you to the lockdown, it keeps the impact or economic impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Mungani, is that okay with you? You can unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. That was very helpful.
Thank you so much. Marion says, hey, Elizabeth, would you disclose what words shared here have motivated the topic you'll write on? What words?
Marion, if you, oh, sorry.
Go on, please.
And elaborate on the topic I will write on. Is it today? Is it in the future? Or generally, if you could just, because I want to give you an answer that is focused.
Okay, it's just now that you said that a topic has come to you as we were all sharing now. You didn't have it before in your mind, but now it dropped in your mind. So it dropped in your mind because of the sharing that has been done so far. So I'm wondering, would you share like what exactly has driven you to think about? Was it a shared word or what is it?
Yeah, thank you, Marion. I was looking at words that I put myself there, and then Murungi said something about it. When I put the me too, and I put is that sometimes somebody uses a word and then it moves people. So it creates, you create a social movement around that word. So in the work that I do, one of the topics that I focus on is violence against women and girls. And as a rule of law practitioner, I usually focus on the law, policy, and institutional framework, because that is what my clients, the countries, expect. But in this discussion, I was like, even in my work, I can look at the role of social movements that maybe could even inspire change faster than a law on violence against women could do. So that is the thinking I was getting, because Murungi says, yeah, these words just push, create momentum and social movements and whatever. So the light bulb moment happened then. And I'm like, okay, maybe my next writing. And if Murungi could join me, I'm looking for collaborators. I like to co-author with people. Yeah. So Marion, that is it. It's about the social movement. I mean, the words or phrases, building momentum and creating social movements around issues. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Ladies, any other questions?
Can you, Murunja, I'm taking over your role for a second. I see
Please go
Welcome
ahead.
has said, thank you, I'm finalizing my dissertation proposal.
That
Please
was
share.
Mongani.
Welcome.
That was
Say something about
Mongani.
your proposal. Yes. So what about it? What can we do about it? You have 20 people with you on this call.
Okay, so for now, all right, it's okay. Actually, what I can just ask maybe, now that becomes a question. There's a time when when I was working on my proposal, and one of the professors said that I had to distinguish between academic writing and creative writing. I don't know how it is that I was presenting my poems, but anyway, yeah, in terms of the layout, the words, and all that, that was one point which came out. How do I distinguish between academic writing and creative writing?
Okay. So Welcome, where are you writing from? Geographically, which country?
Yeah, I'm in Kenya.
Oh, okay. I don't really know the background, the full story, but I would guess that your professor was talking about our session 2, the writing style. Because for academic writing, you need a style that you need a mixed style, but a lot of focus on analysis. So you have to be persuasive, you have to be analytical, and still sell the story. Expository, it's the academic style, you really need to put quite a lot in there. But you can't be so narrative. Narrative, it will be like a journalist. This is what happened, and on that day, 2 vehicles, this was happening and that happened, and then they move on to the next story. So you'll be required to be persuasive. You state the facts, you provide the evidence base. So a creative writer does not have to provide. They just say they climbed the tree, they fell off the tree. They don't even have to explain why, but they leave you to, maybe it was slippery. They'll say it was a rainy day, and then so-and-so climbed the tree and then fell off that tree. So you're thinking, was it the rain? Was, the place was wet, it was slippery, whatever. But in academic writing, you cannot do that. You don't have the liberty to do that. It has to be evidence-based. You have to be critical. You have to have arguments, sell your arguments, and then you have to persuade. And you have to persuade the professor as well as other readers, because the professor is doing it on behalf of other readers. So I guess that's what work in progress. Feel free to share it with me. I could chip in here and there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Any other questions, ladies?
I also have a question. I'm also doing my proposal. So I was wondering, this is Rita.
Yes, Rita. Rita, could you please speak a little louder? You sound a bit distant.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, it's better now.
Yes. I think I'm just picking up from what you said from the proposal. So when you're referring in a proposal writing, for example, I'm referring to
something that Elizabeth has written. So how do you bring that out so that it doesn't look like I've just picked out what Elizabeth had said and make it flow, because I think I struggle. I'm sort of struggling with that. I have my reading list. I have all that. I have all that. I have, but now it's not flowing. So I think those are among the things that also my lecturer picked out. So, is it? Do you put analysis at that stage, or yeah, something like that?
So Rita,
Mm-hmm.
so in which field are you writing?
Law. I'm writing international economic law.
I think we have
Okay.
a person to help you with that. At least
Yes,
the law part.
and yes, and you want to be able to use existing literature
Yes.
and have it flow.
Compare. Yeah, compare, then now come to my conclusion.
Okay. Yeah, first and foremost, when you do your literature review, that's an opportunity to benchmark, to expose what the lay of the land is. International economic law, Elizabeth, so on. So many writers have written on this, and your paragraphs can be on the basis of sub-themes, or they can be geographical, depending. I don't know the scope of your writing. If you're writing globally, you can go geographic. Writers in the developing world, writers in the developed world, these are the common themes, and you summarize them. But you're also able to use the footnotes to reference the papers that you've reviewed. Or you can go thematically or sub-thematically. What about international economic law? If somebody has written about gender diversity, or somebody has written about what is in international economy? I'm trying to find the sub-themes.
Oh, sorry, I'm actually writing about the legal like I'm trying to the legal framework on the on East African community, on the East Africa community with reference to regional financial integration.
Yes. Elizabeth, perhaps also, I think as Elena said, Rita is asking how you can refer to, probably asking how you can refer to someone's work without plagiarism.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. So Elizabeth, is it okay if Elena chips in too? She has something she'd like to share.
Please.
Elena, please share with us.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, and thank you, Moronji. I do a little bit of academic writing, so I just wanted to chip in here. When we are going back to Rita's question, if you want to quote from someone's work into your personal work that you're doing, it's very important. First of all, if we go back to why you would want to look into someone's work in the first place. One, when you are doing academic writing, you first want to identify what is, you do like a gap analysis. If I want to write about this particular topic, what is already available? What do people know? Then two, if you now have that with you, then you want to ask yourself, what is missing? Where is the gap and where do I come in? What am I coming in to add to what is already here? And then you now get into the details of what Elizabeth has been telling us, coming up with a nice way of starting and ensuring that one paragraph is flowing into the other paragraph. But as you quote people's work, usually if you go and copy and paste, there are even softwares that people use, like if you're taking it to a journal, there are those softwares that are used that will be able to flag and say, oh, Rita's work has exactly the same lines from this person's work. So they will flag it as plagiarism because you went into Elizabeth's work and literally copied. And sometimes people do that like over and over in the paper. So by the time someone is reading, they can hardly say whether this is Rita's original work or it is Elizabeth's work. So how do you do this? For instance, if you find that Elizabeth wrote and say, during the the pandemic, the lockdown has been terrible, these have been the numbers, you come and you read it, synthesize it, and then summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences that have the key detail, the key things from what Elizabeth wrote, but you have understood them in your own way and summarize them and put them in your book so that whoever is reading is able to say, okay, this is a quote because you've referenced Elizabeth's work, but you have added a synthesis to it and it is not exactly the way Elizabeth wrote. So that is how you can avoid plagiarism. Otherwise, you will be flagged off because there are softwares that just pick out and say, this one has really copied from this particular writing. So I just wanted to chip in there. I do academic writing, but I am mainly on the group to learn more about creative writing. Thank you. Over to you, Moronji and Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Elena, for that. And I think that was very beautifully done. And perhaps just to add on to that, sometimes you can pick words or sentences, but how you write them, you have to put them in quotes to show that this is what the person said. It is not mine. You know, you can say, in Elena's findings, she noted that A, B, C, D, and you put it in quotes right there and then. Whoever is reviewing your paper will know that this, they might find it elsewhere, but you have noted that it is not yours, it's someone else's. Yes.
And
all right.
I see Marion's hand is up, but I just want to add something for Rita. This is just a practical tip and it's within the confines of this call. If your professor is also an author in that field, pay attention to what the professor has written,
yes,
their views, so that when you're distinguishing or whatever, when you're doing the literature review, you know how to present the message. Because that professor is reviewing your thesis on behalf of all the other readers when it is done. So that professor, he or she, is going to be your main audience as you write. So if they are leading authors in that field, make sure to do a literature review on their writing and manage relationships around it. If you don't agree with their views, be positive in your critique as you're distinguishing why you're taking a different angle from theirs. Otherwise, as Murunji may know, that's how so many, especially at doctoral level, that's how so many people do not complete, by bashing their professors. And that is your main audience for your writing. So you have to manage the relationship. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Marion. Marion, I'll give you a minute. Please ask your question.
It's not a question, it's an addition, because
Thank
I
you so
think I've
much.
also been stuck on the same issue for a very long time on how to say what I'm trying to say. So, and what I've learned is that it's important in academic writing and any writing to learn the synthesis skill. It's a skill. So putting in work to learn how to synthesize the work of others, like when you have whatever they are saying, so what is the problem with what they are saying? And what different thing do you want to say? Because then the issue of your own voice keeps coming in. Where is your voice? Where is your voice? So I just wanted to share that there's they say I say. I don't know if you've heard about that. There's a they say I say.com. So I would encourage those who may be having the issue to look at it. They say I say. read as much as you can, listen to, how to do it, and then you go ahead and do it. And rephrasing, as Elena said, rephrasing what others are saying in your own words, and then quoting them so that there is no plagiarism. Thank you.
Thank you so
I will
much,
definitely
Marion.
visit that. Yeah, thank you for sharing the sayisaid.com. Wow.
All right, now, ladies, we have a few more exercises, but because of time, Elizabeth, I think we'll share just 2 exercises and discuss that before we get into the breakout rooms. And I think this time's breakout rooms are really just going to be mixed up. So ladies, if you find yourself in one group or another, please don't feel any kind of way. We're just going to share our journey regardless of what your main interest is, because, this is the first session of this is the first boot camp, and we really want to share our journey, where we've started from and where we are right now. So Elizabeth, over to you. I will be helping out with the chat. I think we could do maybe 2 or maybe 3 slides at most.
Yeah, I think I have one. I'm going to have 2 slides.
Okay.
So be quick to react. I just want mind in the first one.
Okay.
And when I do that, yeah, when I put this up, I'll ask you to write from 1. You see my slide, my screen?
And now it's showing.
Yeah, from 1 to 8. Just have a quick read through. So this is a test on how fast you read. So have a quick read through 1 to 8, and just put 1 word of what it makes you feel. These are opening sentences from 8 different pieces of writing. Just 1 word. You don't have to do the 8.
So ladies, our minute is up. May I please see your comments? 1 word that comes to mind when you read this. I would say life. Life as we know it, life.
For all the 8?
Not for all the 8, especially maybe 2 to 5. 2 to 5.
Okay.
As I say, life as we know it.
So that means when you read from 2 to 5, writing there resonates with you in your life as you know it. So you're not scandalized, you're not like, what is, it resonates with you.
The things I've seen, the things I've heard of, so it's not shocking.
Okay. Yeah, so would those sentences inspire you to read those books?
Not all of them, some of them. I would really be, some 5. You better not tell nobody but God. What are we telling? Is what I would think about. Elena says, for number 1, confined due to cold, she would think of trust. Trust.
Okay.
Would be what would come to her mind. Mungani says suspense. Suspense.
For which one?
Mungani, for which ones would you think of suspense?
4 and 5 mainly. 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Okay.
4 and 5 would be suspense.
So would you read 4 and 5 on the basis of those opening sentences?
Yes, I think I'd like to know more to the story. Yeah, I would.
Mhm.
Elena says number 7 would be disorder. Why it would be disorder right there and then.
Yeah.
Susan says number 7 would be out of the box.
So would you read it? Would you
Susan,
spend
would you
money
read
on
the
it or
book?
spend time?
I'll read it. I find it fascinating for one to call me to imagine something out of the book, something not normal. So I'll dig in to see what are their proposals.
Okay, thank you for that. Marian says 3 would be dynamics of families. 3 would be dynamics of families. Elena says number 8 would be mystery. Mystery. Doreen says number 3 would be family. Number 8 would be treasures. Elena says number 1, for now, I would dive in right away. She says she would dive into reading the first one. Rita says, I would like to read 7 and 5. Rita, why would you like to read 7 and 5? Rita, you can unmute yourself and tell us.
7, again, there's some disorder, which is a normal person's life, but what happened after? Did they find some order?
Okay.
Something like that.
All right. Thank you. Doreen says number 5 would be prayer. Mercy says 8 would read, she would read 8, seems to usher in items that seem hidden to the ordinary eye until you search deep within. Very philosophical. Yeah. Kristen says 8 would be adventure for her. Kristen, would you read number 8, a book that began in that way? Would you read number 8? Doreen says she'd like to read 3 and 5 because they resonate with her and her areas of interest. 3 and 5. Rachel says number 7 is unconventional. I would read it out of curiosity and for entertainment. Kristen says she would read 3 and 8. For 3, it's because of mischief. She thinks it's filled with mischief. Right, ladies, thank you for that. Elizabeth, over to you.
Yeah, so ladies, what we are doing here is exactly what your readers are going to do. They will read that one sentence and they're like, no way. Or they will read it and for different reasons, they'll either invest in your time or they will not. Because this is your time, this is your brainchild. If it resonates with them positively, they may read, they may not read. If it resonates negatively, they may read, they may not read. So for example, because I do a lot of work on violence against women and girls. 3, the first sentence on happy families, and then each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. There's 2 things it may do. This person may want to read to see how different is their unhappiness.
Yeah.
Secondly, it may be a trigger. It could be traumatic. As you may be aware, people who have gone through violence do not want to read about violence because sometimes it triggers them. So they may be like, no, not today. So our opening sentences are the key. If we don't get it right, we run a risk. I'll use the Bible for those who read the Bible. When you go to Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning. When you read in the beginning, even if you've not completed the sentence, it sets the scene. To an extent that when you hear the word Genesis anywhere, you know there's a beginning, there's a
Elizabeth?
Yes?
You fell off a bit. Could you please start from the point of Genesis?
At what point?
Genesis.
Oh, okay. Yes, so the Genesis is about a beginning. And readers, anyone reading that chapter of the Bible knows that in that chapter, the scene is being set for what follows until the end in Revelation. That's the importance. It sets the scene, it grabs the reader's attention, or it repels the reader for whatever reason. Using my own experience, when I write, because right now, for those who are involved with development work, we are in the decade of action for the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
When I want to capture my audience, if I shared most of the papers I'm writing now, sentence 1 will have Agenda 2030. And even in my keywords, when the editor asks me for the 6 keywords to be used so that, you know, when people are searching, they can find me, I'll put Agenda 2030 or the SDGs. Because I'm targeting policy developers, I'm targeting people in law and development, I'm targeting people in global governance. And I know they are looking for SDGs, they are looking for Agenda 2030. So in your opening sentence, you determine who will be looking for this, who will want to read this, and whether they should carry on. So I'll stop sharing this and go to another. But if you can just share your comments as I go to the other slide, just what your feeling is about an opening sentence, what you would consider when you're writing your opening sentence, even for a tweet. Just share your thoughts in the chat.
Doreen said that she wouldn't read the first book because it's depressing. She says she wouldn't read it because it's depressing. Yeah. Thank you. So ladies, what would be running through your mind as you thought about that opening statement? Be it for social media, be it for creative writing, be it for academic writing, what would that be? Susan says she has downloaded the color purple.
Sorry, I'm going on to the question now.
Please go ahead.
Ronji, please the instruction.
Okay, so what would you be thinking about as you're thinking of putting out that tweet, putting out that first sentence, putting out that first sentence for your academic writing or even for creative writing? What would be, your thought process? Would it be about the audience? Would it be about your feelings? Would it be about what's happening around right here, right now? What would be your thought process? What are some of those things that you'd be thinking about? I think if I was writing on social media, it would mostly be about what's happening right here, right now, in that moment. And if I'm writing creatively, I'll be thinking about the emotions I'm feeling as regards to what my main topic is.
I can imagine that, for example, in the campaign, the last political campaign period, anybody who went on social media, whether in Uganda or outside of Uganda, but familiar with the politics, when they use certain things, Mitima Jakaruva, or all sorts of things, it will go viral.
Yes,
Mitima Jakaruva is about the hardened, it's about endurance, the hardened heart, that commitment to just keep going regardless. So you would see things that went viral because they had they would put certain images and then caption them, and then you'd see it go viral within minutes. Yeah,
that is very true. Ladies, perhaps you can even tell us some words or some sentences that you vividly remember that caught your attention. As Susan says, I like Elizabeth's approach to the decade of action. I'll borrow the Agenda 2030 SDGs in my writing too. Awesome, Susan.
Yeah.
Ladies, what would be some of those, perhaps, something that you remember that caught your attention, and now, you yourself also run with it? It could have been in a book, it could have been in a series, it could have been on social media, something that made you run away with, follow, something that made you follow that person. I think for me, it was sometimes the season.
Oh, sorry. No, Muronji, go ahead.
The times that I'm in a particular season and certain thought leaders or certain, they call them influencers, speak to me, if I'm in a season where perhaps I'm struggling and someone says something that speaks to me and I feel calmer, then I'll start following them, if it's something about perhaps the research I am doing right there, and then I'm like, oh, so this person must be having more information. So I also start following them. So also that's perhaps the season you are in also dictates how you will respond to something. That is what I have also realized about myself, the people I follow. Stella says, I mostly write for work. Digitization is a word I always ensure to include in my writing for work. So for her, because of the work she does, just like you, Elizabeth, she tries to ensure that, she's putting a light on herself to be found.
I wanted to add that, especially for social media, some people will follow you because of the profile picture. So like they put the party leaders poster, campaign poster as their profile picture. So any tweet they put out there, you find that people are more attracted to the message because of the profile picture. And then they think, oh, they can the author, and they'll
Elizabeth, we lost you a bit there.
Yes, Doreen says Chijakugwa, it gives hope, and she has adopted it. Yes, and for me, the Chijakugwa thing, I associate it with a phrase in the Bible, about the joy coming in the morning. You know that the weeping endures but for a night, and then joy will come in the morning. This will end, this too shall pass. Chijakugwa.
So for our sisters from other parts of the world, Chijakugwa simply means this too will come to an end.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for this session. I'll give you just 1 more minute then after that we'll have a break and then get into the breakout sessions to discuss what we have learned in the past, from the beginning until now, and then we'll come back and, wind this up. Ladies, just 1 more minute.
Yeah, so while the 1 minute is running, I want to share my screen just for people to and let us know what they think. I'll just maintain this during the break.
Susan also says that Chijakogwa speaks to her. Rachel says, taglines, catchphrases draw me in. For example, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it. So I guess we all can see that at the end of the day, it's, you have to speak to the people. I think that's what we learned in the last session. Who is your audience? In the first session, we learned why are you doing this? Do you want to incite the public? Do you want to inform the public? Do you want to get opinions from the public? So whatever you're using, eventually for whoever your target is, falls down to your why. So ladies, that is it for our 1 minute. Elizabeth, over to you.
Yes, layout of the workbook. Yeah, I'll do it this way so that you can see both. I just want you to think about the quality of the screen. And from what we've been doing since day one, session one, just think about it. Any other comment or whatever, just think about it. And how much time we give? 5 minutes, please, Murunji?
Yes, 5 minutes starting now, and then we'll have another 5-minute break and get into the breakout session. So ladies, 5 minutes.
Yes. Just to hear what your thoughts are.
Elizabeth, could you scroll up a bit so that we could see the beginning of the, that's better, yeah. Thank you.
So both of them, you can think about the questions there, or you can just brainstorm for both. What is in the figure and what is at the bottom of the screen.
It is, we now have 4
and you can
minutes.
use the chat function. Yeah, you can use the chat function. You, if Murunji accepts, you can put up your hands, maybe one.
I think it would be even faster. It would be faster if you can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and tell us, Ladies, you can unmute yourself. You can write in the chat, or you can put up your hand, whichever is faster for you.
I'll take a go here.
Thank you. Yes, Susan.
It is very difficult to read this para. It is one very long sentence.
Yeah.
With winding. Okay, she tries to put in lots of data in there, but it's not coherent. And I can see by looking at the para that it's not properly edited. For example, the word between income and with on line 3, there's definitely space there that could have been edited properly. So it is a struggle reading it. So yes, I would definitely turn that around to make it easy to read and use the data to make it simpler for my audience to understand. Over.
Thank you, Susan. Just to add to that, Rachel says the paragraph gives her a headache. Rita says it's all over the place. Susan says no commas, too much information altogether, improper use of words, so many typos. However, it is useful information. Blender says it is a very long sentence. Yeah. Ladies, you have just 2 more minutes.
what of whatever is at the bottom of the page? I'm really curious. I want to hear about that.
Is that what would you do differently, or?
No,
Which
the
one are
very
you
bottom.
referring to?
Do you see the?
Oliver Twist, the boy who asked for more. Is that it? Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, can we have some feedback on that?
Ladies, Oliver Twist, the boy who asked for more. What are your thoughts on that sentence?
It's a delicious sentence.
I agree. Thank you for that, Susan. Ladies, what would you
Any
think
feedback?
about
I think I was, yeah, I was out. Somehow there was, yeah, my connection is becoming unstable. Wow.
Susan said it is a delicious sentence. And I said, I agree.
I have a question. Is it a sentence?
Just a minute, please. Ladies.
Hi, Murunji.
Hi.
It seems like a heading, but again, not really clear because it could be meaning Oliver is supposed to twist the boy who asked for, or it's missing a comma after the name Twist, therefore meaning like Oliver Twist is the boy who had for more. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mercy, for that. I didn't think about it in that way, perhaps because I'm so used to Oliver Twist coming together. All right, thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Susan says, for her, it looks like a title. Joyce says, no, it's a paragraph.
Okay.
So
any other comments?
Susan also
Murunji,
says
how
the
many
name,
seconds do we have left?
5. The name written without capital letters. And I think we're up.
Okay.
Our time is up.
Oliver,
Yes, please.
Oliver is the boy, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I don't know whether it's a subheading or what. It starts with a small O for the name. Yeah, and asked for more what, you know? Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Marion, for that. All right, Elizabeth, over to you to, wrap this particular session up.
Yeah, to wrap up. Yeah, thank you. These 2 exercises were selected for that very reason. Because if you if the author applied this technique, whatever we are doing now, to this, it would not go out this way. In the first proposal, and they actually got the money. They got the money from government to invest in growing the eucalyptus. So it made sense to whoever was evaluating the proposal. But you can imagine that sentence of information, scientific, mathematical, it's there. So you need to have patience to read it. The presentation in itself, why it jumped out to me, because just the presentation told me there was something wrong. And that's why I took a picture of this from a proposal that I read. For the second one, I was even hesitant that's why I said whatever it is. Because we know the rules of a sentence must have a full stop at the end, so the punctuation, capitalization or whatever. It's not taking the reader for granted. Murunji says, I've always known about Oliver Twist. Many of us know about Oliver Twist, the boy who asked for more. And even we know what more he asked for. It was food and whatever. Other readers may not. So how you punctuate this is Oliver being given an instruction to twist about the Oliver that we know about. So always have these questions. Step out of your reading and do exactly what we've done now. because that's what the editor is going to be doing anyway. That's what some of us are very bad readers. Even when we read the newspaper, we are editing it. You said they didn't get it right. I punctuated this better. So yeah, that is it as we go into our break and then hope to have a very nice breakout. Runji will give more information on how the sessions are going to be. I'll stop sharing now.
Ladies, thank you for all your contributions. We're going to have a 5-minute break. That is up to 11:58, and then we'll have breakout sessions for about 35 minutes. In this time, ladies, we can start our break, and then we'll come back for the breakout sessions in 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Hello, ladies. I hope you are energized, re-energized. We are getting ready to start our next session. So if you're back, please let me know you're back. You can, write in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let me know that you are back for the session. Mungani, thank you for that. Nice to see you again. Ladies, if you're back, please let me know. Please let us know in the chat that you are back before we proceed. Hi, Joyce. Thank you. Ladies, if you're back, please let us know that you are back in the comment section, or
I'm here.
Marion, welcome back. Elizabeth, welcome back. Or you can send an emoji or a reaction to let me know that you are back. Susan, thank you. Happy to see you again. Ladies, please let us know if you are back from that break. I hope you have some more tea, water, I don't know, wine, juice. Please let us know that you are back. You can send a reaction, you can write in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and say you're back. Hi, Banice. Nice to see you again.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Blenda, hi. Cindy, are you here with us? Rachel, nice to, sorry, Rita, thank you. I can see you, welcome back.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. Christine, hi. Doreen, Marcy, Joyce, Rosalida, hi. Susan, Stella. I just need 2 more ladies to let me know they are back before we proceed. Just 2 more ladies. Stella, hi, are you back? Hi, Stella.
Hi, how are you? I'm back.
Thank you, thank you. Marcy, hi, are you back?
Yes, hi, I'm back.
All right, I have my 2 ladies. Elizabeth, over to you so that we can start the next session. Elizabeth?
Yeah, thank you, Murunji. Ladies, welcome back. We have 17 people, maybe maximum, we may have 20. So we are going to have this as our breakout session. So just kick off your shoes, relax. We are among equals. And in this session, we are going to do exactly what we did in session 1. You know, shining the light on ourselves, spotlighting ourselves. looking at our journey. Where are we now? Looking back from where we were when we did session 1. What has changed? What are you doing differently? What do you wish you could do differently? So think about your calling to write, your calling to communicate through writing. Actually, I prefer to say, because we all communicate, so I prefer to say it's a calling to communicate through writing. The what, the why, the how, the when, the where. This session is going to look at that 3 sessions down the road. And we're going to do that together because of the numbers that we have. So we are not likely to go sessions, but I would like to encourage that we do this. We have hands up, people to share their views, their dreams, so that we can help you carry the dream. We'll become your accountability partner. And this is series 1 of the bootcamp. There is more to come out there, but this was to break the ice, for us to look at those little things that make us feel like maybe we are not fit for purpose. So that is what this session is going to be about. We are equals. No one is up there. No one is accomplished. I was telling Moronji earlier on today that every writing that I do, I want one sentence to be better than the last sentence. And that's how we all grow. So this session is for exactly that. And I just want to tell a story of why I'm wearing this, because usually when we talk about writing, we say, put it in black and white, something like that. We always say black and white. That's why I'm dressed like this. But the black and white can be like this, or it can be like this. You can have the white prominent, dominant, or you can have the black dominant. So let's just enjoy ourselves as we communicate through writing. So that is what this session is about. Use the chat function, put up your hand to talk about where you are now, what you're doing, why you're doing it differently, or how you can do it differently. Just let it out. So